Hey there, and welcome. So, we're going to talk about something we all do, but let's be honest, most of us aren't very good at it fighting. But what if I told you that arguing could actually be one of the best things you can do for your relationship? I know, it sounds crazy, but stick with me. Ah, yes, this one. We've all been there, right? You hear this or something just like it, and you get that familiar, sinking feeling in your stomach. It's the starting pistol for a fight that feels unproductive, hurtful, and just exhausting. But let's flip this whole thing on its head. What if arguing, when you do it right, wasn't a sign that your relationship is failing? What if it was actually a path to a much deeper, stronger connection? What if all that conflict was really an opportunity in disguise? Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the kind of argument we all have. Then we'll get into why fighting can actually be a good thing. We'll break down the huge difference between healthy and destructive arguments, give you a practical guide to having a good fight, and finally, we'll reveal what might just be the ultimate relationship skill. All right, first things first. We need to understand what the fight is really about. Because, most of the time, it's not actually about the unwashed dishes or who was 5 minutes late or that one text message. Nope. It's almost always about something much, much deeper. Let's decode this a little. When you say something like, "Why didn't you text back?" That's just the tip of the iceberg. The real message, the unspoken feeling underneath all that, is something more like, "I'm feeling a little insecure right now." Or, "Hey, I really need to know that I matter to you." And you know what? Recognizing that distinction is the first step to changing absolutely everything. And that leads us straight to our main idea today. If we can just get past all that surface level bickering, conflict can have some genuinely surprising upsides for our relationships. Seriously. So, a healthy argument really helps in four big ways. First, it brings all those buried problems to the surface, like digging up weeds. Second, it's a huge emotional release, kind of like a pressure valve. It also shines a big spotlight on your communication patterns, for better or for worse. And maybe the best part, when you successfully get through a conflict together, it builds this incredible sense of we-ness, and it can make you feel closer than ever. But, and this is a really big but, not all fights are created equal. There is a world of difference between a disagreement that builds you up and one that tears you down, and knowing which is which, well, that's absolutely crucial. Okay, let's put these side by side. Healthy fights, they focus on the problem, not the person. They stay right here in the present instead of dragging up every mistake from the last 5 years. The goal is to solve the problem together. Destructive fights, on the other hand, they go straight for personal attacks, they use threats, and they almost always end with that dreaded silent treatment. In fact, there's this psychologist, John Gottman, who identified 4 specific communication styles that are so toxic, he actually called them the Four Horsemen, as in, of the apocalypse. And that's because they are one of the biggest predictors of a relationship ending. So these are the major red flags to watch out for. Criticism isn't just a complaint, it's a full-on attack on your partner's character. Contempt, well, that's criticism mixed with pure disgust. We're talking mocking, sarcasm, eye-rolling. Defensiveness is basically turning yourself into the victim and blaming them. And stonewalling is when one person just completely shuts down, withdraws, and builds a wall. If you see these showing up, you're in the danger zone. So, the big question is, how do we dodge those 4 horsemen and actually have a productive argument? Let's get into the practical stuff, a toolkit you can use for a better way to disagree. Here are 7 simple but seriously powerful techniques. Think of this as your conflict first aid kit. We're going to zoom in on a few of the most important ones. Okay, step 1 is a game changer. It's about shifting from accusation to expression. So instead of saying, "You are so dismissive," which, by the way, immediately puts someone on defense, try saying, "I felt a little ignored just now." See the difference? An I statement is about your feeling. It's impossible to argue with, and it invites empathy instead of a counterattack. Now, step 2 is all about biology. When you get really, really angry, your body gets flooded with adrenaline. It goes into fight or flight mode. And when that happens, your brain is literally incapable of having a rational conversation. Research shows it takes about 20 minutes for your body to calm down. So agree to hit pause. Take 20, then come back. This isn't avoiding the problem. It's being strategic. This might be the single most important mindset shift you can make. The goal of a fight in a relationship is not to win. There's no trophy at the end. If one person loses, the relationship loses. The real goal is to work together to defeat the problem. As soon as you frame it as us versus the issue, the entire dynamic changes. And finally, we have the golden rule. After the dust settles, you have to repair the connection. It could be a hug, a simple apology for your tone, a shared joke, anything that basically says, hey, we're okay, we got through it. Prioritizing that repair over your need to be right is everything. So, after all of that, what's the real takeaway here? What is the one skill that can truly transform how you and your partner handle conflict for the rest of your lives? Well, surprisingly, the goal isn't to never fight again. Not only is that totally unrealistic, it's probably unhealthy. I mean, a relationship with zero conflict is often a relationship where people aren't being honest. Now, the real goal, the ultimate skill, is to get better and faster at repairing the connection after a fight. The conflict is the crack. The repair is the superglue that actually makes the bond even stronger than it was before. This quote really just nails it, doesn't it? The true measure of a strong relationship isn't the absence of arguments. It's the presence of a really good, really quick repair. It's all about learning how to navigate the storm together and come out on the other side still holding hands. So, as we wrap up, I want you to think about this. Of all the tools we covered today, the I statements, that 20-minute pause, the us versus the problem mindset, what's the one technique you'll commit to trying the next time you feel an argument starting? Because that one small choice, it could make all the difference. Thanks for joining me.